what I would say a master's athlete likely wants to get out of this sport and this competition is just to prove that the things that they're doing in the gym are really worth it, right?
For teens, I think that it can be healthy from a nutrition perspective to do this sport.
The balance is just trying to make sure your body doesn't fall apart. Like the balance is a purely physical and mental load. Like, are you able to sustain that?
Okay, so longevity versus athleticism and performance is really the question there. I would argue, in a general sense, that
Yeah, so when I was personally competing in CrossFit, the age groups were all together, right? We had one big weekend, or really week, of the age groupers, the teams, and the individual athletes all competing on the same stage. Timeline was a little bit different. It was cool then because, you know, obviously everyone was in this big fitness community, but it was kind of unfortunate also because it seemed like the age groupers were kind of an afterthought in the sense of they didn't have like that center stage feel. So I feel like the positive experience to splitting it off is like they're front row center, right? There's no distraction of the big name individual athletes here. It's like the whole competition is programmed for the age group athletes. The fans are all here for the age group athletes, and it's a cool little environment where they can be the showcase, right, of the event.
You're trying to find the fittest at both competitions, but the community, the atmosphere does feel a little bit different, just because of, you know, where we're at as far as like the open division being professionals, full-time athletes, you know, competing, training 8+ hours a day, whereas this is, you know, it's just not that. These are teen athletes in school. These are masters athletes with kids and jobs and, you know, everything else going on in life. So yeah, it just creates a slightly different atmosphere now that they're separated. That kind of comes through a little bit more, I think.
Oh my God. Oh, intensity is so bad. Oh my gosh. You're amazing. Also the foot. No, it was not. Yeah, that one was, it was good until it wasn't. Because you're like, okay, I have to play my own race in the front half of it. And then when you get to the turnaround point, you can kind of see where your competition is. And then at that point, you're just seeing like, do they look like they're labored? And that you can kind of keep your pace and then pass them, or if you have to like kick it a little bit. So at the end, I had to kick it. Especially when Joey's at like close to the finish line saying, close to the finish line saying, you better not get past. You don't want to disappoint your coach.
I mean, yeah, like to me, I think the stories out of the masters divisions are much more impactful, and like, you know, having obviously like I work with a number of masters clients one-on-one as well, and it's like they just have a lot more going on than just their competition life. And you see those stories told throughout the weekend where they own a gym, they still coach classes, they want to set an example for their kids, for their community. So that side of things is as important to them as the actual result of the competition. Like, yes, they're still a competitor, they want to win. You know, they want to come out here, they want to train hard, and they want to try and win, place as well as they can when they come out to the games, to their pinnacle event. But there's that holistic look at like, okay, this doesn't define me, this is just a piece of who I am. And, you know, your ability to train hard, to push the limits, to push the boundaries is more about kind of setting the standard for yourself and the people around you. And I think, like, to me, that's what makes CrossFit CrossFit. At the core of it is like, it's the community, it's the environment, it's setting an example. You know, all of those things kind of come together in the age group divisions, and it's not as much of a highlight and as big of a piece of it in the individual categories.
The biggest thing is definitely going to be time management in terms of their lifestyle, what they're going into. So a lot of times when we talk about kind of how the flow and the style of programming goes, it goes a lot into kind of what works into their everyday. Carly is a full-time working professional, so she actually gets to the gym relatively early, then comes back at night, but she also has certain days where I've had to manipulate times where she has a home gym, and so I have to program certain things on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because she's going to have bigger work days on that. For Bradley, what's kind of nice with him is that he can jump into a lot of the class workouts that he does at his home gym, Glass City CrossFit, which is kind of fun. And then I work with that because I actually write programming for their affiliate gym. So I can kind of work actually with some of the programming that goes into that. And then I give them specific suggestions for Bradley specifically on nutrition, on how to kind of like beef him up a little bit. And we've been kind of talking through that. And his parents are really good about kind of like working with him and trying to eat some more calories.
Is this your first game as well?
No, I made it last year. I was a 14-year-old.
Awesome. So tell me about like what it's like coming in as a second-timer Teen Tour Games event.
I think it's a lot better because like I made friends from like last year and then at Wadapalooza. Because like last year I knew no one and like kind of stayed like aside and didn't talk to anyone. It's a lot better here now that I know people and I know how like it goes and stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. And how do you balance like training for this, and I'm guessing school as well gets involved as
Yeah. So I mean, I do school. And then I come home, eat, go to the gym, work out for like, it's like 5 hours. I do CrossFit for like 3 hours, and I do weightlifting class for 2 hours. So yeah, it's a lot.
So were you good at CrossFit like from the get-go?
I mean, kinda, but like once I worked with Dwight, I got like really good at it. I started to like get a lot of muscle ups in a row. Like before I worked with Dwight, I couldn't do like 3 in a row, and now I could do like 10s for like multiple sets in a row. So yeah, it's definitely helped a lot working with them. Yeah.
So what is your big goal with like training and getting into this early into life?
I kind of want to make the games as individual and stuff, and I want to podium this, but I'll take top 5. That's the goal. Yeah.
Is there any athletes that you look up to?
Yeah, kind of everyone's proven, like Jay, Ricky, Tia. I kind of look up to them.
Yeah, so a lot of people probably don't know that I'm in the military, so I do that full time. I own a CrossFit gym with my husband, so I work there full time. I've got 2 kids, so training and getting here has been really hard, but I have the best support in the world, so credit to myself for getting here.
You're quite a big part of the Prvn family as well. You've been around for a bit, but now you're here and you get to actually get face time with Tim and the rest of the crew. Just tell me about that and what it's been like having that touch point.
Yeah, one-on-one coaching is second to none, honestly. To have Tim in my corner and the Prvn family, it's the best in the world. Like, you know, Team Tim is #1 in the world, so if you want to go far, go with a team, because otherwise you won't get anywhere by yourself. So very thankful for Tim and Team Prvn.
Yeah, so in the sense of coaching Marquand at an individual level and then coaching him down the age group, the mindset part of it is the same, right? You're a competitor, you go in and you do all the same things on competition day. It's really more about what we're doing in the lead up, right? So as a older athlete, there are different priorities in his life, right? So now he is recently married, recently had a kid this year. So the amount of training volume is a little bit lighter. And we also got to consider that he's an older athlete, so we got to be mindful of, you know, little aches and pains that appear, right? We're not bouncing back as quickly as we were in our 20s, right? So just being mindful about that. And that's with all, at least older age group athletes, is that you know, the body doesn't rebound as quickly as it used to, and then we just have to be, it's harder to push through some of those things and maybe not appropriate to push through some of those things because they'll start to stack up and then you end up in a pretty big hole as far as your injuries situation may go.
First time, just turned 35 this year. I probably could have went individual, but I had a kid in April. So that was during the time the workouts were released. The semifinals, online semis, so I didn't get a chance to do that. I'm not saying that I probably would have anyway. I think I made my mind up that I was going to go Masters this year. But yeah, so this is my first time here.
Awesome. What's it like having like a family life as well, now juggling that and being an athlete?
Man, it was tough at first. I was getting no sleep. And then my wife said, I'll take over the night shifts, which helped me out a lot. And I was able to get some good training in. At one point, I thought I was going to have to like drop out because I wasn't able to train like I wanted to, not getting sleep. In hindsight, I was training late, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And we kind of doing that this weekend. All of the workouts were so late. So it may have helped a little bit, which is good. Yeah.
So another reason why I wish I would have started a sport like this earlier is the sport of CrossFit, and just this training and the drive that it takes to be good in this sport is very valuable in teaching these kids lessons outside of that, with you have to work for what you want, and teaching them the discipline and kind of what's required to get to where they want to be. So that can be applied to other aspects of life, with getting a job, getting good grades in school, and kind of working for what you want.
It's a way to learn communication skills. It's a way to learn how to work hard, to hopefully achieve something cool by working hard, and just starting to develop that, you know, that relationship and understanding that, like, if I work hard, I get good things. And I think, like, for the teenagers, you're trying to be a part of that process. So I think, like, for them, again, it's like a holistic, like, how are their parents? How's their family involved? Are they involved in a good way? Because we know that youth sports can get a little over the top, and we want to try to avoid that. And, like, so I think, you know, for me as a coach, that's a big focal point, is just making sure that I'm not only helping them get fitter, like, yes, I want my teenager to be able to do more muscle ups, to hit a PR in her clean and jerk, to whatever else, but, like, I want to make sure that she's learning lessons in the gym about just, like, working hard, discipline, balancing life, and just also being a kid.
The one thing that I would say I like with CrossFit is that you're going to be more well balanced in terms of what you're going after. You're going to have to do gymnastics, weightlifting, running, kind of doing all those type of things, rather than getting really pigeonholed into what you're doing if you're taking on a competitive sport. I always think that it's great for kids to do multiple sports as they're kind of growing up, which actually CrossFit kind of like leads you into. As an example, like Bradley in this off season, after the games, we've already talked about it. He asked whether or not jumping into cross country would be a good thing for him to develop a little more capacity, develop his running, and he's going to be in a little more of like a team element where he's running with a lot of kids that are going to push him up to a level. And so for me, it's just like, hey, like, you know, expose your kid to as much as possible, see what they love, so it's going to keep them more active, and I think that's really what we're trying to go after with kids.
So it could potentially get unhealthy for an athlete in the space if they're under-fueling chronically. That's something that we need to be mindful of as these teenagers are growing and continuing to develop. It's kind of pivotal for them to eat enough to fuel their bodies, not just for growing, but also for the additional training that they're doing to prepare for these competitions. I think it's important probably for people on both ends of the spectrum to have a coach, but for the teenagers, I think it can be even more important because they're in the age where they kind of don't want to listen to their parents. So maybe if it's a parent who would be taking on that coaching role, they might not be as willing to listen to them. So I think having an outsider's perspective can be really valuable for that age group.
Excited for all, so I was honestly really surprised with that. It just felt really good. My breathing was under control, and that was what I was most worried about. So I just went out there didn't even know where anybody else was until like last 2 rounds. So that was really exciting.
You had a big grin on your face in those last box jumps. What was going through your mind?
Oh, I was so excited. I mean, I got to the last box. I was like, okay, I'm gonna win this heat, and so I was just like so thankful. All my family was there, so it was just like kind of a surreal moment for me. That was really exciting.
What's it been like so far, just like with the whole Prvn crew in the back end here and the coaches? Like, how's that been?
It's been so good. I feel like there's like so many people just around wanting to talk to you, congratulate you, and just push you, give you some tips, and that's really helpful. And I love that. I love this team, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
Being a Masters athlete, each division gets a little harder because it's a little bit more demanding on the body, right? But you also have this thing where a lot of these people are doing it for the love of the game. As a professional individual athlete, you know, in your 20s, you're doing this as a living, right? You're trying to make this a living and things like that. So showing up to the gym and trying to perform at 100% can be hard. A lot of these guys have jobs outside of fitness where they're doing this because they really enjoy doing it. So for them, showing up to the gym becomes a little easier. They're like, all right, I get to go work out now. It's like breaks up my work day and things like that. So I think like an appreciation for the fitness kind of changes as you get older.
Unspoken truth is that recovery is just as important as the work that you put in, and a lot of times masters athletes that think that they're not getting to the next level usually are trying to burn the candle at both ends, and they're not getting enough sleep, and then they're trying to put in the extra work, so they're putting in all this volume without getting quality sleep or actually managing their recovery because they have a lot of other time constraints with them. So then they're like, okay, I'm just gonna like put my sleep to the side. I'm not gonna get in the recovery room. I'm not gonna do these things, when realistically, those are actually the things that keep you moving onto the floor. Carly, as an example, said this year was her healthiest year that she's ever had. And she called it death by accessory, which is like my word for it, which is a lot of extra accessory work for our masters athletes that are keep them healthy and able to keep moving forward and keep working out day to day. And that's the type of stuff that they'll kind of like leave off to the side. So it's like written in there, a sauna, cold plunge, make sure you stretch, hit 4 to 5 rounds of these accessory movements that are gonna make your joints feel good, and then make sure you still sleep. It's a very hard thing to balance when you have other things in your life, and you have to make sure that your priorities are in line with that, and that you're okay with, you know, sacrificing some of the things that might be a little bit more fun in order to get a little bit more recovery if your expectations are to go and win the games. Like I would say, as you get into the older athletes with, in terms of our sport, it has to be more targeted towards longevity, because it's really just about getting to the start line healthy versus pushing that performance line. So it's like, okay, what can we do to make sure that you're moving well for longer periods of time? And those athletes are going to be the ones that are on the podium at the 60 and 70 age group. I think at the younger age group, they're having to ride the line of that volume and loading phase a little bit more so, and then they have to dial it back as they move into those later age groups.
I do think it's more for longevity, and I think that mostly comes back to how they train. You know, it's like, granted, in some of the younger masters categories, because frankly they're younger, they can handle more a volume tolerance in training closer to what the individuals are doing, but it's still a step down. And I think, you know, as you kind of go through this, like you just realize and you learn as a coach as well and as an athlete that you have to start to make some concessions. Like you have to listen to the body more. And granted, this is true for the individuals as well, but like, because so much revolves around feeling good physically, whereas again, here you just don't have all of those luxuries necessarily. The longevity aspect definitely comes into it as well, because again, I think this is just a part of their life. It's a part of their life that they love and they want to keep doing and they want to keep pushing the boundaries. But at the end of the day, again, when you have these other responsibilities, like I can't afford to be hurt. I got to pick my kids up. I got to go to work tomorrow. Like, you know, I have to do all of these things. So you're just trying to strike that balance as best as you can. You're 70 years old doing things that most 50-year-olds can't do. So like at the end of the day, there is that, like, I think the longevity, like the proof is in the pudding kind of. You know, like realistically, we wouldn't have a 60+ masters category if they weren't doing this for longevity.
So, like, your transition from like, hey, I gotta go to singles, whatever, you kept it smooth, you crushed the other parts, and that's what we talked about. You're probably looking like a 7 or 8. Good stuff. Good stuff. Proud of you.
I'm sorry.
Hey, what am I gonna teach her, huh? A whole lot!
I love that. I love this team. I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
Nice to see you like that. Don't change a thing. Masters age group athletes, the older athletes, right? They want to be a part of the same community. They also strive for the similar goals, right? They all want to compete at a high level, compete with their peers, right? And this is the perfect way for them to do that, right? It's like a great motivation in their life to do fitness, which is really the most important part, I think, as far as the masters athletes go, especially, is that they're continuing fitness into their later years, right? They're doing right by their body, and this is a great way to showcase all that hard work they put into their body, is to go on the floor and compete with their peers.
What were you doing before all this?
CrossFit. I've done CrossFit for about 15 years. In college, I competed at the University of Colorado in track and field, and then found CrossFit. And I tell everyone, like, I need CrossFit more than CrossFit will ever need me. Like, it is therapy, it's healthcare, and it just makes my heart. It's made me a better person for sure.
Obviously, you had to train extremely hard to get to where you are today. How do you manage all that volume of training as well as your everyday busy life?
It's hard to juggle, I think, a busy life and training. I mean, I honestly took it day by day. There are days you don't have it and days you do, and I tried to stay positive. Honestly, I was just trying to be thankful for having the experience, thankful for being healthy, thankful for something, and again, it was daily. I just tried to take it day by day.
Was there any doubt in your mind that you would perform as well as you did this weekend?
You just never know. You never know if you're going to get hurt. You never know how you're going to feel, and so there's always doubt. But you just do it. Every watt, I just was you can only do what you can do, and that's what I tried to kind of take one watt at a time.
Awesome. Over the weekend, what was your favorite moment?
Having my family here, they've kind of utilized some of these events and some of these the games as a family reunion. So it was really special to have them all here in one city, which we never could plan otherwise.
Awesome. And what does it mean to you to take that podium position?
It means a lot to me because I think it's kind of like pride and joy in my CrossFit community back home. And so it's kind of bringing a little bit of New Mexico right now to Columbus, Ohio. And so just doing it for them, it's kind of, I think, very special to me. I told Dwight this early on. It meant so much to have him here. Just to have him talk me through different situations and have him just to be there. Honestly, I'm good with Dwight, and I have a great relationship. He gives me the work, I do the work. And just to have him being here telling me how to warm up, what to think about, how to see things, to have that support, I absolutely needed it, and I appreciated it very much this year.
So who inspires me? I would say the Masters athletes that I see. I hope that when I'm that age that I'm still kicking ass and doing what they're doing.
I'd say at this point in my life, my own children inspire me in the sense of I want to be better at the things that I'm doing to turn around and inspire them. By no means I'm going to say, hey, I think you guys should do CrossFit, but they want to do it by seeing me do it. That's great. But I think the idea of them wanting to move and being motivated by movement is the big thing.
I mean, I think that I would say that our entire team inspires me, our team of coaches, our team of athletes. There's a level of expectation, I think, that goes into the work that we do and the level of performance that we see on the floor. And so having that and wanting to live up to that is something that is really inspiring.
Who inspires me? Every single one of these people out here, because I'm looking at them, I'm like, how is that person 55 years old? I'm like, I want to look like that when I'm 55, right? And I think finding that appreciation for hey, you get to go to the gym, you get to do CrossFit, you get to do this stuff, treating it like that instead of oh no, I have to work out today. It's just finding that appreciation for life that these people have is huge. Now I'm I'm going to be at Masters next year. I'm am I going to be the 35-year-old champion? Who knows?